Sylvester and the Steppe Colt, written by Sylvester V. Philip. This is a Soulcarver studio production. Let the story begin. The grass swayed like waves in the wind, stretching as far as the eye could see. The golden light of the sun gently swept across the endless green meadow, as if dusting the steppe with gold. There were no mountains, no trees, only open space reaching to the horizon, dotted here and there with soft grasses and tiny wild flowers. The silence of the steppe was never empty. Birds trilled in the sky, crickets chirped in the grass, and now and then the distant bleating of a sheep or a camel echoed from beyond the hills. This is where Sylvester lived, an 8-year-old boy with bright eyes who shared a small yurt in the middle of the steppe with his grandparents. Their yurt stood on a windswept hillside surrounded by carved wooden posts and little wind chimes. The gentle tinkling of the chimes was the handiwork of Sylvester's grandmother, made from wood, nutshells, and seashells. Their soft sound always comforted Sylvester, as if the steppe itself were whispering stories. Every morning he woke up early, just as the sun began to paint a faint glow on the eastern horizon. He pulled on his fur vest, slipped out from under his warm blankets, and ran barefoot into the grass to greet the sunrise, just as his grandfather had taught him. Like every ancient Magyar, he had a bow of his own. He was still small, but he had carved it himself with his grandfather's help. The bow wasn't just a toy. He practiced shooting with it every day. And as he grew, his aim grew steadier too. He knew it wasn't meant for fighting, but for protection, for scaring off wild animals. Something else his grandfather had taught him. One early morning, when the dewdrops still glittered like beads on the blades of grass, a strange sound reached his ears, a soft, fading whinny. At first he thought it was only the wind carrying distant noises, like it often did. But then he heard it again, closer this time and filled with pain. Quietly, holding his breath, he stepped toward the sound. At the edge of the meadow, hidden in a thick patch of grass, he saw a young colt. It was alone, trembling, and clearly lost. Perhaps it had been wandering for days. The next morning, Sylvester returned to the meadow with a small bowl of water and a few dry carrots. The colt was still there in the same place and position. But this time when it saw the boy, it didn't back away. Sylvester placed the food on the grass, stepped back, and watched silently. The colt sniffed the air, then it began to nibble, slowly. Each bite was careful, as if it wasn't sure if it should swallow or stop. A whole week passed this way. Every day, Sylvester came back, bringing water, food, gentle words, and endless patience. The colt grew braver with each passing day. One morning, with the sun already high in the sky, the colt gave a soft snort and stepped closer. Sylvester's heart leapt. He reached out his hand. The colt sniffed it, then let him gently stroke its warm, silky nose. "I'll call you Storm," the boy whispered. The colt flicked its ears as if it understood. From that day on, they were inseparable. Storm followed Sylvester everywhere, first to the yurt, then to the water well, and later even to the stream beyond the hills. Sylvester taught him how to jump over little brooks, how to stay calm when wolves howled, and how to listen to the wind, because the wind always tells you something. That was something Grandpa had taught him long ago. Grandpa, an old shepherd, watched them sternly at first. But he saw that the boy didn't just love the colt, he respected him. One evening, as they sat by the fire sipping tea in the mild evening breeze, Grandpa finally spoke. Whoever makes friends with an animal has an open heart. But don't forget, a wild colt's heart is free. If he truly becomes your friend, you'll never need a chain or a rope. Storm grew stronger with each passing day. His coat grew shinier, his steps more confident, and Sylvester changed too. He was no longer just a little boy. He became responsible, observant, and brave, like the people of the steppe. But one day, dark clouds gathered in the sky. The old shepherd said the wolves had come down from the mountains. That evening, while the family was having dinner, a dog's bark shattered the quiet. Grandpa jumped to his feet. There's something out there. Sylvester was already running to Storm. The colt pawed the ground nervously, his tail flicked, and his ears twitched forward and back. In the distance beyond the hill, yellow eyes flashed. A pack of wolves. There was no time to think. We can't leave anyone behind, Sylvester shouted, leaping onto Storm's back. The colt was surprised, but not afraid. He started to trot toward the hill. Sylvester unstrapped the bow from his back and drew an arrow. The wolves growled, baring their sharp teeth as they approached. But Sylvester didn't back down. When the lead wolf stepped forward, the boy pulled the bowstring tight and shot straight into the ground, right in front of the wolf. The arrow hissed through the air and struck the grass with a puff of dust. The lead wolf stopped. He stared. He sniffed the air. Then, slowly and with dignity, he turned around. The pack followed. The wind fell quiet. The steppe breathed again. The next day, the sun shone with special clarity. Grandpa said, "The steppe has accepted you, my boy. You are not just a human here. You are part of what is eternal." Sylvester and Storm have lived together ever since. And if you ever pass through that land, you might just see them. A boy and a colt running across the meadow as if they were freedom itself. And if you close your eyes, you might even hear their story in the whisper of the grass. The end. Thank you for listening. We are already working on our next tale, Lily and the Secret of the Moonlit Forest, in preparation. Coming soon to this channel. Stay with us for more stories from the world of Soulcarver. Copyright July 6th, 2025, Sylvester Philip, all rights reserved. This audiobook is a Soulcarver studio production. No part of this recording may be copied, distributed, or shared in any form without the written permission of the author. This work is protected by international copyright law. Thank you for watching this little story. Until next time, may your dreams be full of wonder.